Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bonfire Big Truckin' Tuesday on Tuesday nights. I'm your commentator, Jared Kelly. I'm not alone today. I've got a other partner in crime. It's my little sister, Faith Kelly. She wanted to see what it was like commentating. She made the joke about it, and I asked if she wanted to do it, and she said she did. So,
Here we
Faith, you're on
are.
the live.
Here we are, everybody. It's
So,
great to be here. I'm super excited.
so we're gonna watch some qualifying. Trying to see who's all on track. We'll go with Lance Durham in the 49 or the 91. Lance ready to put down his first lap. Yet again, my thing's not working properly, so we're gonna. For some reason, none of my stuff is showing up. So I might have to reload. My SDK. So give me a second here, folks. There we go. It should be all fixed now. Having some difficulties this morning or this afternoon. Nighttime, whatever time it is. Most of you guys will probably be watching on the toilet later tonight anyway, so. Lance Durham able to do, I believe it was a 50.9. That puts him 16th quickest at the moment. See if there's anybody else that we think is on a flyer of a lap. How about Kevin Kyle in the one car? He's close to the end of his second lap. Right now, he's 8th quickest as Joe Amato goes up to 11th. But out turn number 3, Kevin Kyle is going to come across the start-finish line. And he will not improve. He'll stay 10th as Chris Smith moved up to the 4th position. Chris doing a really good job here. See if he can improve his time. Right now, David Owens sitting on pole in the 55.04 range. Zach Engel only close to a 10th behind, but we still got a lot of drivers to go. AJ Benish wanted to watch, and I believe we also have Nate Maurer in the race as well. He's sitting 6th. He's done qualifying. Out turn number 3 down the start-finish line. Chris Smith, will he improve? No, he goes slower that time around. So we'll move over to Steve Lewis in the 88. Steve going for his first, or he's on his out lap right now. So he hasn't even put a lap down, so we'll give him time. We'll go over to Matt Schofield, who went 19th on the board. So hopefully he can improve his starting position. Right now, I believe there's 28 drivers, 27 drivers, so full field here. The Bonfire Racing League for Tuesday night. Great showing. But it's Steve Lewis now. Looks a little slow on his first time lap out of turn number 1. But we're going to catch up to him. He's hoping he can improve. Around the same place as AJ Benish, fast guy, here in the trucks on Tuesday night. Matt Schofield goes 12th on the board with a 55.41. That ties him with Dennis Puckett. Across this line, Steve Lewis is 21st quickest. So hopefully he can improve as we go on board with AJ Benish, who's on his out lap now. We're right on board with the number 5. Driver out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So drivers try to avoid the bumps in turn number 1. There's a lot of bumps in turn number 1, Faith. As he gets up into the wall, so that's going to ruin this qualifying attempt. He's trying to save it. Luckily, this is a large racetrack, so maybe he can get it done on his second lap, but bad luck for AJ Binish as he's going to go into the pits and retry this lap. But Steve Lewis, can he improve? Across the start-finish line now. He does not. It's a 55.75 for Steve Lewis. Right now, we're just waiting on AJ Binish to finish up with qualifying with 2 minutes left to go. I'm not sure if the ticker's going to work today. I would like it to, but I'm not sure I'll get too lucky. As my computer decides it doesn't want to work again. Ah, there it goes. It doesn't want to work. Go to the tower. There's the driver of the 5 car trying again for qualifying. Oh, as AJ got really close to the wall in turn number 2. He's got to need a clean lap so he doesn't start from the back in the 23rd position. Now turn number 3. Can AJ have a good lap, get himself into the top 10? It's pole position for AJ Binish. A 54.0 or 8.9. That is one lap, flyer lap after that first mistake of getting to the wall. And a heartbreak for David Owens, who was looking forward to starting on pole position. But as qualifying ends here, we're going to go to our race info. Track temp's 106 degrees. Ambient temp is 84 here at the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. Tricky triangle, 3 corners, all different from the others, and each one has its own characteristics, as I was telling Faith before AJ got into the fence there. Partly cloudy with 28% humidity with 7-mile-per-hour winds, changing to 6 here. As the drivers are going to be gridding up here, we'll go to your grid. As AJ Binish is that pole winner with David Owens in that second row, like I was saying earlier, with Zach Engel and Matthew Smith rounding out that second row. Chris Smith and Morris Craven in the third. Nate Maurer in the 971. This is a driver to keep your eyes out for, with David Buell in that fourth row. David Brenner and Jack Duvall rounding out your top 10, with Kevin Kyle and Dennis Puckett looking in on those top 10 positions. Matt Schofield and Fred Lester in that 7th row, followed by Joseph Amato and Graham McGivern. Those guys, your top 16. Lance Durham, Edward Pelt, Sam Ballard, and Chris Sargent, your top 20. Paul Ferdiani from the Bonfire Premier Cup Series making his racing debut here in the Bonfire Big Trucking Tuesdays, followed by Steve Lewis in the 88. Alex McCorder in the 15 with Tommy Fox in the 57 in the 24th position. And the 25th and 26th positions, you got Jeff Pfeiffer and Stephen Neal. Not sure what happened to Stephen Neal. Maybe got up into the wall. And Julian Jones, who I think is having a hard time getting into the session, so we might not see him on the grid here. As the drivers are sitting on the grid, we have the pace car, the iRacing official pace car there, going to lead them to green here at the Pocono Raceway. So, Faith, when I was with the Cav OK boys in the booth, we had a little game on the under and over. So I'm going to say maybe there's going to be 3 cautions. You're going to have the over or the under on how many yellows there are going to be, and if you have the over or under, how many cautions do you think there's going to be?
Well, I've never seen the guys here race before, so going in blind, I'm gonna guess over just with my experience in dirt car racing and other watching other races. I'm gonna guess probably like 5. Just a little bit over. We'll see though.
And we do have somebody starting in the pits. That's the 88 of Steve Lewis starting in the pit lane. So we're going to the static cam here at Pocono. So drivers get lined up 2 by 2. I believe that's Tricky the Fox. That's the mascot here at Pocono.
Tricky the Fox.
David Buell's going to have to get up to the rear bumper of the 69 car. Want these drivers stacked up best we can. Put on a show here for the opening laps for tonight's race. Round 2 of season 10. Bonfire Big Truckin' Tuesdays. It's quite an accomplishment to make 10 seasons. But it's all these drivers that keep showing up and the viewers that are here watching the race. As green flag's up in the air, AJ gonna lead him to green here across start finish line. Equal start with David Owens. He's got some help from Matthew Smith in the 96. But AJ, can he get away clean into turn number 1? As Jack Duval and Steve Lewis start from the pit lane. Right now, everything going well for the drivers out of turn number 2. As David Owens is battling with AJ Binish for that top spot as they go through the tunnel turn of turn number 2. I believe it's the tunnel turn. I'd have to look. Turn through the flat, turn 3. I almost said 3 and 4. There is no turn 4. But they are side by side. AJ wanting a good run, but it looks like David Owens is going to have the momentum. He's going to lead the first lap here at Pocono. Looks like Lance Durham is down pit road as well. Not sure what's going on with the 91. But right now, they are single-filed out here at the Pocono Raceway. As further back, Graham McGivern got passed by Joseph Amato in the 929. And it looks like somebody off pace. That looks like Stephen Neal in the 45. See him down there near the bottom of the racetrack. Back there with Jax Duval in the 84. Not sure what's going on with the 45. Usually we see him running in the top 15. Maybe an issue early on, but right now they are all single filed out. As Kevin Kyle's trying to go around the outside of the 886 of Fred Lester. As Fred Lester got loose there, can he save it? Joseph Amato on the rear end. That was a really close accident waiting to happen. I'm hearing from race control force feedback issues for the 91. I believe that's going to put him out of contention for the win. Not sure if he'll get back out there. As Fred Lester's pushing Graham McGivern towards turn number 2. But Joe Amato looking at the inside. Luckily, these drivers make it through. As now Nate Maurer is making his way up towards the front, passing the 96 of Matthew Smith. He's working his way up front as AJ Binish going for the lead on the inside. Can he get the run out of the corner? Out right now, Zach Engel still pushing David Owens out of the corner through the draft. It looks like Matthew Smith going to the inside, maybe to try and help AJ. Riding on board with Zach Engel on the 47. Here comes Nate Maurer on the inside of Matthew Smith. This guy's not giving up. Oh, as Matthew Smith got into the 47. Can he save it?
There's
No,
a
he's
wreck.
not. Oh, as Fred Lester got involved with Graham McGivern there. Graham, I think, has a blown motor. Let's go back and see how this all transpired. We saw him get loose. Or he got up into Zach Engel and just wasn't able to catch the car. And both of those drivers spinning in front of the field out of turn number 2. Graham with nowhere to go. So Graham McGivern, Fred Lester, Matthew Smith, and Zach Engel, all your cars that were involved. See Matthew there going down pit road. That's going to bring out our first yellow flag of the night. And let's switch over to laps here. On lap 5 out of 60, 55 laps left to go. We know we love that number.
Lucky number.
And it does look like Lance Durham is out on pit road. Not sure if those force feedback issues have been resolved, or if he's just going to try and power through it. At the moment, as I'm looking, Alex McCorder is going to be your highest mover so far through the race, up 11 spots from where he started there in the Jets Pizza number 15 machine. And as of right now, your biggest loser is Matthew Smith there in the 20, who was involved in that last incident, minus 20 from where he started there in the 4th position. As we have drivers coming down pit road, or it did say they entered the pit lane, but they didn't. Fred Lester, the first one coming down pit road, followed by Matt Schofield, Paul Ferdiani, Sam Ballard, Zach Engel, who was involved in that incident, Stephen Neal, all in pit road, having some split strategies. We know Fred Lester needs some repairs because he did have that contact with Graham McGivern. All these other guys may be on a fuel strategy to maybe extend and try and get ahead. As we see the race out of pit road. Paul Ferdiani going to be the first one out of pit road. That moves Nate Maurer up into the 3rd position on the podium, with Chris Smith there sitting in the 37, sitting pretty there. Or in the 4th position. Fred Lester is now out of pit road. He's going to stay on the same lap as the leaders, I believe. It's Barney the flagman still holding that yellow flag strong. But the pace car lights are off, so we are going to go back racing here in about A minute and 22 seconds. Or 2 minutes. I was looking at the entirely wrong thing. 2 minutes. We'll go back green flag racing here in Pennsylvania. Faith, what do you say we crank it up here on this restart and we just have the ambient car sounds going around the racetrack? What do you think about that?
All right.
All right, the first lap clean as everybody is single file here. I think the first car that's racing side by side back there is Joe Amato and Jeff Pfeiffer as they're 3 wide with Kevin Kyle in the 1. Kevin using that top lane should get some momentum here off the corner, and he's going to be in that draft. Jeff Pfeiffer moves up to the outside, leaves Joe Amato in the dust as they go through turns 2. You can run under that yellow line just a little bit. It's not illegal to go underneath that yellow line. We're not at Daytona or Talladega. As I look for some more battles around the racetrack, I see Dennis Puckett and Alex McCorder. Alex McCorder looking to the inside of the 12. He's going to have a little bit of a tow from the 52 of David Buell. As Dennis is going to try and cross him over, he's going to try and go to the inside. Not going to have the run, I don't think. As of right now, Nate Maurer taking over that second position. As he got a little loose there out of turn number 2. Taking away that second spot from AJ Binish in the 5. Kevin Kyle right behind Alex McCord, trying to gain a position on the 12 of Dennis Puckett. Here comes, oh! There's Jeff Pfeiffer. He's up in the wall. That nose was torn off, but they stay green. But that's not going to be a comfortable car for the rest of the race from Jeff Pfeiffer. But back up with Joseph Amato and Dennis Puckett, they are racing for the top 10 position. Dennis to the outside of the 929. He's going to have a good run here down the front straightaway. Going to have a good view here going into turn number 1. Joe Amato's going to tuck in behind the 12. It's David Owens almost pulling out a half-second lead over Nate Maurer. I believe Dennis Puckett got a little loose there out of turn number 2. I was looking away. David Brenner getting crept on by, I believe that was Chris Smith in the 37. With Morris Craven right behind. These guys running in the top 5. Oh, as Dennis Puckett into the outside wall. That's going to drop him back a position. Maybe he had some help. We see some damage there on the left side. Not sure what happened there. Maybe we can go back and look. Can't really see anything there. Maybe if we rewind it a little bit. Faith, I'll let you digest this for the viewers. What do you think happened here?
I can't see which car. It looked like some car got him in the left rear. Bumped him up a little
maybe
bit.
Jax Duvall there in the 84. Maybe got up into him, forced him into the outside wall, but that just created a mess for the rest of the field to try and get through. As Dennis Puckett is now down pit road, he's going to try and get that damage repaired. Kevin Kyle and Alex McCorder creeping up to this group with Chris Smith and David Buell and Morris Craven. As Nate Maurer is looking to set up a move on the 11 of David Owens as we see some more stuff happening further back through the field. Nate Maurer using that middle lane. Maybe try and generate a run and have a good run down the straightaway. Maybe get a little bit of a toe to have a shot into turn number 2. He definitely had a really good run into 2. Not going to do anything with it. Maybe wait for turn number 3. David Owens got a little tight there. We see Nate Maurer looking to the inside. Nate looking in to the inside in turn number 1. Can he get the job done? He's got to try and miss all the bumps. Maybe try and pull a little bit of a slide job. Not going to be able to do it. David Owens to the right rear quarter panel. It's going to slow both of these guys down. Let AJ Benish start creeping back up on them. It's further back Lance Durham, who had those force feedback issues. He's on the lead lap again still. Right now working on Fred Lester there in the 6. It's Paul Ferdiani is also working on Thomas Fox there in the 57, the Tropicana orange juice truck. Chris Sargent working on Steve Lewis in the 88, looked to the inside there, but thought better of it. Got Joe Amato right in front of him. Chris Smith a little bit slow. He was on the rear bumper of Morris Craven. Kevin Kyle's coming with a full head of steam down the short little chute till turn 3. You definitely want to get ahead of them in the corner and pass them out of the straightaway so that you can get that draft down this long straightaways here at the Pocono Raceway. As Chris Smith went to the inside there, maybe gave the position to Kevin Kyle. It's Nate Maurer once again eyeing up David Owens for the lead, but AJ Benish just sitting 8/10 behind these two. Nate Maurer there in the Toyota Tundra. David Owens really aggressive, trying to keep this lead. He wants to lead all the laps, but here comes Nate Maurer again into the inside. Not able to do anything out of turn number 3. But maybe we could see another move down into turn number 1. These guys running the exact same line. This is exactly what AJ Benish wants to see, as he's starting to creep up 7/10 behind these two. Does look like Dennis Puckett is out of this race. Matthew Smith with a blown motor, he's in the garage. But here comes Nate Maurer looking on the inside. Into turn number 3, Nate Maurer's gonna dive it on in there. He's gonna have to lift though, that's gonna allow David Owens to get to that right rear quarter panel. We should see a drag race out of the corner. David Owens gonna hold on to lead this lap once again. Chris Smith down pit road. I think it's a little early to start thinking about pit stops, but I could be wrong. Maybe it adjusted the fuel to have 2 pit stops, 20 laps per pit stop maybe. Not quite sure. We don't see anybody else down pit road. As Nate Maurer got really loose there out of turn number 2. Owens using that high line, but AJ Benish has caught up to these two. He was saving his tires back there. And now the hard work begins. Smith out of pit road. He's not a lap down, I don't believe. Track, I think, is big enough to not go a lap down after pitting. Zach Ankle's coming out of pit road as well. Chris Sargent still working on Steve Lewis there in the 88. This is for the 11th spot. as they have caught up to Joe Amato. David Buell and Edward Peltz down pit road, so I think we are starting to see some green flag pit stops happening. So it could be a matter of time until we see those leaders coming down pit road. It's Nate Maurer looking to the inside of David Owens here. He's still hungry to lead that lap. Not quite clear yet through turns 3. Oh no, he does clear him out of turn number 3. New leader, the 971 of Nate Maurer. But David Owens is not going to let it have it that easily. Crossed him over out of turn number 3. He's going to go through turn number 1, maybe try and retake the lead. But not able to do anything down there at the bottom. So Nate's going to hold on to it here. As David Brenner, about 2 seconds back from this lead pack, he's sitting there in the 4th spot.
Let's see how long Nate can hold the leading position.
Joe Amato down pit road. So we're on board with Fred Lesser and Lance Durham here. These guys racing for the 12th position still have to make that pit stop, but they can go longer since they pitted at that first yellow. As we do have a second yellow, it's Jax Duvall. I think it was out of turn number 3. Maybe he was coming to pit road. See what happened here. See Edward Peltz there as well. Yeah, it just got loose coming out of turn number 3. Locked it down. That's going to bring out our second yellow. Which I think is going to work out well for those guys that pitted, Faith. They're between lap 19, 20, and 21. Right now I'm looking at Chris Smith there, who looks like our going to factor to our leader. So this is going to throw a wrench into some things. Here we see Joseph Amato, and it's one of the last guys to pit there. Almost to the halfway point here at Pocono Raceway. Just a little short, 5 laps worth. We started seeing guys come down around lap 22 was the last one that pitted. But Nate Maurer and David Owens maybe had a few more laps in there, maybe could have made it at 25 laps without those yellows. So it's going to be a close one on strategy. See who it works out for. Pocono always wanted to throw the pencil and notepad to these drivers. What pit strategy they want to go with. Should be 4 tires and fuel for all these drivers. Nate Maurer is going to lead them down pit road. Followed by David Owens and AJ Benish, your podium sitters. Edward Peltz is going to get the wave around. Chris Smith and David Buell and Joseph Amato are going to go factor into your podium positions. We see the race out of pit road here. Should be Nate Maurer should get the jump. We see Steve Lewis there. He beats Nate out of pit road. Steve Lewis, I think, did fuel only. That was his second time pitting, so maybe he pitted there and just wanted to get some extra fuel. Put him on a strategy of his own. Your top three gonna have older tires, or top four, I should say, are gonna have older tires. Nate Maurer, your first on new tires. Interesting to see what happens here with your top four. Is they gonna lead the field those first two rows? There's Zach Engel coming out of pit road. Steve Lewis back down pit road for 4 tires. Maybe it was a misclick. Maybe crew chief screwed up there. That's going to leave Chris Smith, David Buell, and Joe Amato, your top 3 on old tires. Nate Maurer going to be on the outside of row number 2. Hoping to get a good jump and try and separate himself from David Owens and AJ Benish with these guys on old tires, which could cause some issues, Faith, with these guys having older tires. They might be a little bit slower through the corners and everything, and could possibly lend them to being ran over. So it would be something to watch for when we go back green. We're going to go back green on lap 28, almost to the halfway point here in Pennsylvania, as that pace car is going to go down pit road. We see the pace car lights are off as we were coming out of turn number 2. I'm all turned around. This is such a long racetrack. But both Chris Smith and David Buell running near the top 5, having good strong days going. Joe Amato back there in the top 10, with a couple contact here and there. As the pace car comes out, turn number 3, it's going to peel off, take that hard left turn down pit road. I believe Chris Smith going to take the green flag and Geico restart zone. The outside line got a good jump. This should be easy sailing for the 971. As further back, I believe that was Joseph Amato, AJ Benish, and David Beal going 3 wide into turn number 1. See how this goes. David and Joe giving room to AJ there on the outside. And here comes David Owens there in the 6th position, followed by his teammate David Brenner, as Joe gets hard into turn number 2. Actually got the rear bumper of David Buell. Almost got loose there and spun out. It's not where you want to spin out here at Pocono, is turn number 2. David Owens looking at the inside of the 929. That is heating up for AJ Benish and Nate Maurer, fighting for that 2nd spot. AJ's going to clear Nate Maurer there. Now he's going to be working on Chris Smith in the 37. Going to try and get that lead the lap bonus point. So we see Sam Ballard there in the 80, all the way down near the apron. Could he be 3 wide? Possibly. It's now 2 wide with Paul Fergiani. They get single file. Stephen Neal, who we saw he was off pace earlier in the race, has fought his way up into the top 10 positions. He's sitting there in the 9th position. It's Fred Lester coming back from that contact with Graham McGivern that brought out that first yellow. As we missed it, AJ Binish and Nate Maurer both got past Chris Smith. Not sure where that was. We might be able to go back and see the pass for the lead. Here it is, the replay. I think down the back straightaway towards turn 2. AJ gets to the inside. Nate Maurer, I think, follows him, forces Chris Smith to the outside. Both these drivers on new tires just able to power through past the 37. So we saw Chris Smith there blocking David Owens. David Owens going to the inside of the 37. Further back, we see 2x2 race him. That's with David Brenner. Looks like they've single filed out now. But Nate Maurer not letting AJ Binish rest here for the lead. I want to try and take that lead back and control this race. Lance Durham and Jax Duvall in the 84 racing side by side. Towards turn number 3. Hard on the brakes for Lance. He's got Paul Ferdiani in the 44 to his outside as we have a wreck somewhere. Not sure who it was involved. Chris Sargent in the 06 got a blown mower. David Buell involved as well. And Kevin Kyle down pit road. Not sure what happened there. We'll have to see. See him going through turns 3 and 4. Looks like it happened further in front. Maybe it was David Buell. Yeah, David Buell, Joe Amato getting to the back of him, spinning him around with Alex McWhorter and kept spinning out in the 06, just not able to go anywhere. Kevin Kyle, I think, went down pit road to try and get away from this incident. Go back and look and see. Yeah, he just goes down pit road to avoid the incident. And it is legal to go down pit road to avoid an incident. It is, the black flag will get cleared. But I think this isn't going to go well for Kevin Kyle. He's going to lose his position. It's just the way it's coded within iRacing. It's a hard break for the 1 car and hard break for the 52, who was having a good run there. But we are past the halfway point, so we might see some more guys coming down for fuel. Interesting to see what the leader does here. Nate Maurer coming down pit road with David Owens, Chris Smith, the 929 of Joseph Amato. Also coming down pit road. A lot of guys going down pit road, those staying out. AJ Binish, David Brenner, and Morris Craven in the 69. All choosing to stay out. They're going to try and hope for another yellow flag here. Tommy Fox going to be the lucky dog, going to go around the outside and get his lap back. It's going to put him 3 laps down now. So we have this mid-race break. Let's go over your championship point standings here for the Bonfire Racing League, if I can figure out how to use it. David Buell, who was leading by 62 points over AJ Benish with 57. That 5-point gap, I believe, will be gone, as David Buell was involved in that last incident. Not what the 52 driver wanted to see. David Brenner sitting there in third point, won the opening race at Kentucky. First Bonfire race win, as we see more guys heading down pit road to top off with fuel. Chris Smith and Justin Jones. Justin Jones not in this race. He's going to drop back in the points by a good margin. Chris Smith, who was doing all right. He was running there in the top 5. Should have still a really good points day by the end of the day. I believe that is everybody with your point standings. AJ back to the lead here, as I believe the pace car lights are off, so we should be going back green flag racing. As we see some movement from the 96, Matthew Smith, who was involved in that first incident, had the blown motor. They were able to get a new motor within that, but we see the damage there on the right side, so this car is going to probably be tight through the corners. No way for him to possibly gain laps back. Right now it's showing me that he is close to 28 laps down. But here to try and gain some points. It's back up front. AJ Benish and David Brenner are going to lead your front row, with Morris Craven and Paul Ferdiani in that second row. Remember, the top 3, I think, stayed out. Chose not to get fuel. Green flag back up in the air. We're racing at Pocono. AJ Benish having a good restart there. Should slide up in front of David Brenner. They should get single file here, as Joseph Amato making a hard left turn. Try and make it 3 wide, gain as many positions. Right now, 3 wide with Nate Maurer. We saw Matthew Smith get up into the wall there just a little bit. He's going to slow down his momentum. These drivers are going to try and get single file, as David Owens has Zach Engel right on his rear end. About 5/10 behind Nate Maurer. He's going to want to close that gap if he wants to stay in the draft. But further back here, it's just a mess. Fred Lester looking to the inside, trying to get a run to get away from this group. Sam Ballard there running in a 10th position. Oh, as we saw Fred Lester get up into the wall there, we saw some smoke. He's going to lose some momentum and some spots. Chris Smith with a full head of steam in the 37, one of those drivers that topped off with fuel. Needing a good points day, going down to the apron. Edward Peltz in the 7, looking to the outside of Zach Engel. Not going to have the preferred line going into turn number 1, but Fred Lester looking to the inside of the 7, followed by Alex McCord there in the 15. Not going to able to slide up. They're still 3 wide down the stretch towards turn number 2. Single file here now. David Owens just slowly creeping up on Nate Maurer. He's got Joseph Amato right behind him. Right now, Paul Ferdiani being chased down by Morris Craven in the 69. These guys in the top 5. Around 3 seconds ahead of Nate Maurer there, who's in the 6th position. Fred Lesher making the move off screen on Nate Maurer on the inside. Right now, Jack Duval, Paul Ferdiani pitted there on lap 32. Everybody else behind him, lap 33. And then AJ Benish, David Brenner, and Morris Craven pitted lap 25. These guys going to have to come down pit road before everybody else, maybe 10 to go. I believe it should be about one more pit stop for everybody to make it to the end. Jax Duval doing the quickest lap of the race. It's a 54.9 or an 8.1. And I believe that is the fastest lap of the race as I'm looking through our timesheet. As you have this long train here, you would think the Pocono grandstands are a train station with this long freight train that we've got down the front straightaway. We ride on board with Alex McCorder. Joe Amato looking to the outside of David Owens in the 11. Wasn't able to get to the right rear quarter panel. Trying to take that spot as David Owens got really loose. Got to the power real early there. It's going to allow Joseph Amato to get to the outside, get that preferred line away from David Owens. David, I think, can't handle the pressure going into turn number 1. As Jax Duval close to the rear bumper of AJ Benish. He had the fastest lap of the race. Right now he's 0.3 faster than AJ on those new tires. Jax Duval going to go for the lead here in turn number 3. To go here when they cross the start-finish line. I think AJ and both David Brenner and Morris Craven looking to go about 9 more laps before they have to make that pit stop. Everybody else is kind of sitting at 14 laps. Heard Jax have to get way out of the gas there. He was getting tight. It's going to allow AJ a little bit more breathing room. The gap's now 0.4 of a second. David Owens, who was up front and battling with Nate Maurer. Nate Maurer, we can see in the same picture. This guy's just not able to go anywhere in traffic. See how this racetrack is all about track position. As David Buell is 1 lap down, but he's still racing. He's hoping for a yellow, maybe to get back on the lead lap and have a good points day. Further back, Nate Maurer still battling on the inside of Lance Durham. He's in the draft of Edward Pelton the 7. Just not able to go anywhere, being stuck on that inside lane. Jax Duvall starting to fall back from AJ. I think those tires have finally plateaued for the 84. He's not making as much progress as he want to. Only a 10th quicker, both AJ and David Brenner there. But these guys David Brenner having some draft, maybe helping him out a little bit. AJ holding his own out here for the lead. Chris Smith and Steve Lewis battling it out there for the 12th position. As the ticker is finally working. Lucky me. As Steve Lewis is getting some pressure from behind from Joseph Amato. Joseph Amato, we see a little bit of damage there on the left rear wheel well. Paul Ferdiani and Morris Craven going side by side. Paul able to hold it into turn number 2 on those newer tires from Morris Craven. Alex McCorder slowly gaining on David Owens in the 11. Maybe David Owens using up some of that tire trying to get past some traffic. Might put him in a prime position. Losing a spot to Alex McCorder, that is for the 9th position, as Matthew Smith, who's coming down pit road. I don't think he needs fuel at the moment, but I could be wrong. Maybe he's starting to split the strategy up. Oh, I think I saw somebody in the wall. That was Steve Lewis in the 88. Got turned by...
Oh my goodness!
Huge accident for the 37, up in the air, hard hit to the inside wall. That's going to bring out a yellow as we watched it right there. Let's try and go on board with Chris Smith. See if I can get it in the in-car video. no driver wants to be flipping up and over like that. Chris Smith doing such a good job today. Able to get that car back rolling. That car definitely gonna need some lengthy repair time. As AJ Benish leads this race. I don't know how many more laps to go. They're on lap 47, so around 12 laps to go in this race. Everybody's going to come down pit road, and it should be an all-out fight for the race to win, Faith. Everybody should be fighting here for track position. You see the top three up front. This couldn't have gone better for those guys. Pitted on lap 25, able to get the track position, get the lead as AJ Benish did, and hold off from Jacques Duvall. So we see here everybody diving down to pit lane. Everybody following AJ Benish, not sure if anybody's going to stay out. I don't think anybody can afford to stay out. Could be wrong. Maybe Kevin Kyle risking it on the strategy. He's going to try and hope for another yellow, maybe. Not sure it could help him. But he is going to take the lead in that number 1 car. As David Buell is going to get a lap back, he's going to get put back onto the lead lap. So we see AJ getting 4 tires and fuel there. We start seeing some guys leave their pit box. Can AJ hold on to the lead? Here comes David Brenner. Jacques Duvall, not sure who got it. I think Jacques Duvall beat AJ out of pit road. That's huge for the 84 and David Brenner as well. So AJ losing 2 spots there from that pit stop alone. That could have thrown a wrench into some things here. Actually, I see David Brenner going down some spots. I think I hear race control saying that David Brenner's speeding on pit road. He is going to go to the back of the field on this restart.
Oof. That is no good.
David Buell in for his service for 4 tires and fuel. He's out of pit road now. Chris Smith and Steve Lewis getting their repairs done after that horrible incident there. But Matthew Smith going to stay out, get the wave around, along with Thomas Fox. Actually, Thomas Fox going into pit road, so he's not going to get the wave around. And neither is Matthew Smith, I don't think. Pace car lights are off. Kevin Kyle choosing to go to the outside row on this restart. Jacques Duvall going to the inside. I think Kevin Kyle hoping the outside line will work for him. Maybe have that preferred line down the straightaways. For this restart, we're going to ride on board with the 5 car with the in-car cam. See how he does on this restart. As Kevin Kyle shutting the car off, we hear it there. He's trying to save fuel. Maybe to make it to the end, the driver out of Laverne, California. Fred Lester sitting there in the 6th position, come back from that incident at the beginning of this race. Paul Ferdiani in his debut here on Tuesday night, sitting there in the 5th position. David Owens up to 7th. Huge break for those guys who were fighting traffic earlier in the race. as we go into the in-car here of the 5-car, we're going to see the restart from the driver's view. As Kevin Kyle's going to approach the Geico restart zone. He's going to take off. Not a great restart for the one, especially with Joe Amato right behind him. Joe wanted to go. It's going to allow this inside line to have a good run down into turn number 1. AJ lifting a little bit there, not going for the move on Jax Duvall. Gonna have a run here down the chute towards turn 2. Oh, as we got a wreck, Morris Craven in the 69. And Fred Lester. That's gonna bring out another yellow. Let's see what happened here. Looks like Fred Lester got loose and got into Morris Craven into the left rear. And that just put Morris Craven onto a wild ride. See what got Morris Craven loose. Oh, just trying to stay out of Joseph Amato there. Through 1 and 2, just not able to save it. That's going to put Jax Duvall to the lead with 9 laps to go. And right now, Kevin Kyle's going to try and save as much fuel as he can. Try and make it to the end of this race. I don't see Kevin Kyle on any voice channels. I can't pull him in and give him some grief on the air. I believe that's going to let Thomas Fox get one of his laps back. So we don't see any drivers coming down pit road. Maybe some in the back who is going to try and hope for a miracle. So it's going to be 8 laps to go. It should be 6 to go when we go back racing. Don't think it's going to be enough for Kevin Kyle to save here under yellow. We're on board with the 1 car. We're going to hear his fuel saving strategies. Hear him clutching it and shutting the car off. Where is Jax Duvall going? As we're riding on board with Kevin Kyle. David Owens up to the 5th position there. Kevin only needed to save about 2 to 3 laps of fuel to make it to the end. With having 2 yellows in between that point, sitting pretty good. Faith, what was your guess on how many yellows we would have?
5.
So you're hoping for no more.
We're hoping for no more.
As it is going to be 1 to go here. We will be going back racing next time by, 6 laps to go. Hopefully no more yellows and we'll have a straight shot to the finish. Because I have an early flight tomorrow morning. I'm going to be up at 4:45. I need to finish packing.
Of course you do.
Just some small stuff here and there.
Small stuff here and there.
So we see Chris Smith up there out of pit road. He's going to be 4 laps behind here, but he is back out on the racetrack. And now it's showing him 3, so he's going to be racing Thomas Fox for the 19th position. Buddy Sally hoping for 1 more yellow before the end. Chris Smith back down pit road. As Jax Duvall going to lead the field to green here from the outside row. Kevin Kyle still saving fuel. Probably all the way to the Geico restart zone. Hopefully we don't have what happened at Nashville in the real NASCAR Cup Series and just have caution after caution from people saving fuel. But the pace car down pit road, Jax Duvall going to lead him to the Geico restart zone. Restart underway here. David Owens looking to the inside of Kevin Kyle early. Try and get a jump that outside line. Got a huge run. AJ Benish going to be behind Joseph Amato. Joseph Amato blocking the 5 car. AJ not having any of it. He's going to go to the outside, hopefully to get a run down the long straightaway towards turn number 2. As Jax Duvall to the inside. I think it was trying to break that draft from AJ Benish not to let him get a run towards turn number 2. They're 3 wide. Paul Ferniani all the way to the top. Looks like there's no issues. David Owens was looking to the outside of the 929. Through turns 3, Jax Duvall going to try and hold on. 2/10 is the gap to AJ Benish. He's going to try and break the draft. He's going to be bobbing and weaving. It's about David Owens try and suck up to the back of the 5 car. Oh, and we got yellow. Edward Peltz, David Brenner, Fred Lester there involved. Kevin Kyle as well. Not sure what happened there. We're going to have to go back and look. Kevin Kyle up into the outside wall. Alex McCorder down into David Brenner. Edward Peltz and Fred Lester also involved. Morris Craven getting a little bit damaged from the inside wall there. But we'll have to see what happened with Kevin Kyle. Just got tight and took off up the racetrack. And a lot of carnage. Kevin Kyle, who's trying to save fuel there. He's not going to be happy with this result. Fred Lester jumping into the pits. He's going to have an extensive tow time. As it's going to be 4 to go. And I think it's going to be an overtime finish here. So, Buddy Sally, you were correct. There was 1 more yellow. So we should get an all-out 2-lap shootout to the end. AJ Benish, David Owens, those two have been having fast race cars all night. Jax Duvall taking the lead here late. Joseph Amato, who's been up into the top 5 last half of the race. And finally, Nate Maurer there in the top 5, also having a fast race car. But can Jax Duvall hold on to the race at Pocono?
Should have guessed 1 more caution.
Edward Pelt's down pit lane. Gonna get that damage repaired. I don't think any cars are going to come down pit road. It's going to be 3 to go here. And I think next time we should get the yellow, or the 1 to go signal. But I believe it's going to be going into an overtime finish. So the rules for the overtime rules at the Bonfire Big Truckin' Tuesdays, there's 3 attempts at green-white checkers for overtime to make it to the end. Caution happens during those green flag checker attempts. It will move on to the next attempt until we get to the 3rd and final one. If the yellow flag comes out during the final green flag run, the race will be official when the yellow flag comes out. And off the wall, I think, is all Jax is thinking about when he comes to the white flag. Hopefully nobody getting into the wall. Hopefully he doesn't get into the wall. I think AJ Binish is going to try and do his best to pass the 84. Either way, I think maybe Jax Duvall's going to pick the outside line again. So that's going to put AJ Binish in front of David Owens. These two are going to be working hard to the finish, trying to get the win. We'll have to see when they come to the start-finish line, as it's going to be 1 to go with a 2-lap shootout to decide the winner here at Pocono. And it does look like Jax Duvall is going to take the inside line. He's going to be paired up with his teammate in the 11. That's going to force AJ Binish to be to the outside. Nate Maurer also on that inside row behind David Owens. Keep an eye out for the 971. So we are going to go on board with the number 11 of David Owens for this restart. As it's going to be a green-white checkered shootout here. Who's going to get it done? Nobody knows. David Owens on the rear bumper of Jax Duvall. They get a great restart. Both get by AJ Binish with ease. David Owens is not going to be happy with second place. He's going to go for the lead at some point. AJ onto that top lane. Nate Maurer below him. Oh, as we got to spin. Sam Ballard behind. That's going to bring out another yellow. And that is going to split up the teammates of David Owens and Jax Duvall for the next restart here. And put AJ Benish and Nate Maurer in the second row. Let's go back and see what happened with Edward Peltz and Chris Smith there that brought out that last yellow. Oh, it looks like Chris Smith was already losing it. If I can find the replay. Oh, Kevin Kyle was loose spinning in front of him, and Chris Smith just had some help from Alex McCorder. He loops around. Oh, into Edward Peltz. Edward Peltz nowhere to go there. So it just keeps getting worse for the 37. As it's going to be the second attempt at the green-white checkered. Jax Duvall going to try and hold on once again on the restart. But he has no friends behind him to push or to hope for to get a really good shove on the restart. I believe it's going to be one to go this time by. I think that's Jax Duvall saying he wants the inside line. As no, they're going to go another lap under yellow. See some guys down pit road. Chris Smith and Matthew Smith also down pit road, along with Fred Lester and Steve Lewis, who's still getting pit repairs done, and Alex McCorder as well down pit road getting repairs done. I think Thomas Fox is hoping that there's another yellow, maybe for him to get a lap back and put him back on the lead lap from being 4 laps down. Dominoes have fallen in the right direction for Thomas Fox. Right on board with Stephen Neal, who is further back here in the pack. Stephen Neal sitting in the 9th position. As now it's going to be one to go for the second attempt for the green-white checkers. So we go back up front to see where everybody's at. Jax Duvall going to take the outside, put David Owens to the inside. Put AJ Benish behind David Owens and Nate Maurer behind Jax Duvall. So we are hitting the hour and 44-minute mark. I think we are close to the 2-hour window that the session is set up for. And give it 20 minutes. And I think we'll be done before then. But right now, we are going to be 3 laps ahead of this, or behind. We're going to have 3 more laps more than the scheduled distance here, the 150 miles here around Pocono. I finally got it coming out of my mouth the right way. And give it 2 more laps. It's going to be 5 laps over the scheduled distance. But the pace car lights are off. Jacques Duvall wanting to make this the final attempt for a green-white checker, and hopefully he comes home before everybody else. Pace car going to take the hard left turn down pit road. Jacques Duvall going to approach the Geico restart zone, and he's going to take off. Great jump for the 84. He can go into any lane he wants. That's going to put Nate Maurer to the outside of David Owens. These guys are going to be side drafting down the whole front straightaway. Jacques Duvall setting up his entry into turn number 1. He's going to run the middle there. Try and hold back David Owens. Can David Owens slide up in front of Nate Maurer? He does. Put AJ Binish in the 4th spot behind Nate Maurer, but David Owens sitting in the 2nd position. He's going to go side by side with Jacques Duvall through turn number 2. He's going to take the lead of the race as Jacques Duvall got loose. He holds on to it, though. That's going to put Joe Amato into the 2nd spot. David Owens has a 0.8 of a gap lead. But will there be a yellow before they get to the start-finish line, before the white flag comes out? I don't think so, as we saw somebody up to the wall there, but it's going to be 1 lap to go here at Pocono. David Owens has a 1-second gap over Joseph Amato and Nate Maurer. Those two were close to battling there for the 2nd position going into turn number 1. As Joe's going to hold on to it through turns 1, down towards turn number 2. And I don't think they're going to have anything for David Owens. Nate Maurer trying to put the bumper to the 929. Wasn't able to get there, though. He's going to have 1 more shot through turns 3. But right now, nobody has anything for David Owens in the 1st position. Out of turn number 3, David Owens going to bring it home here in Pennsylvania. David Owens pulling the fastest lap of the race, a 54.64. That was faster than pole position there. Joseph Amato holding on to the 2nd spot. Nate Maurer coming home in 3rd. Followed by Paul Ferdiani, who was able to hold on in his debut to 4th position. And AJ Binish in 5th. Stephen Neal giving a congratulational bump. So I believe David Owens is going to burn it down like he always does. But David Owens, your winner in the Quaker State. he slides into Joseph Amato there. That is going to do it here at the Pocono Raceway as we go to our results page. David Owens bringing it home for Gulf Coast Racing with Joseph Amato in the second position, almost 1.5 seconds back. Nate Maurer bringing it home in the third position, followed by Paul Fergiani in his debut in the 44. Great finish there for Paul. AJ Benish bringing it home P5 after starting on pole. Sam Ballard in the 80, finishing 6th. Lance Durham in 7th after having those force feedback issues. Stephen Neal, after being a little bit off pace there at the beginning of the race, bringing it home in 8th. Jax Duvall, who was leading there at the beginning of that green-white checkered, coming home in the 9th position after getting loose from some contact through turns number 2. Morris Craven coming home in the 10th position in the 69, with Zach Engel in the number 11th spot. David Brenner bringing it home in 12th. Alex McCorder, David Buell, and Matt Schofield rounding out your top 15. Kevin Kyle, after trying to save fuel and having that accident late in the race, coming home in the 16th position. Edward Peltz, Thomas Fox, Chris Smith, rounding out your top 19. As I try and go to the next page. It usually never works. Yeah, it's not going to work for me this time. Fred Lester coming in the 20th spot. Steve Lewis, Matthew Smith, Chris Sargent, Dennis Puckett in the 24th. Jeff Pfeiffer in 25th. Graham McGivern and Justin Jones, who did not start this race, rounding out your field here. And I believe I heard somebody snicker in the chat, so I'm going to try and get set up here for post-race interviews. If I can figure out what I'm doing here. I believe I do somewhere. Somewhere deep down I know what I'm doing. Just sometimes I don't know. Yeah, we'll go here. So I try and skip through these laps. I'm going to find at some point what I'm doing. And I keep on going to caution laps, probably because this race was full of them. But I guess that's how it is. There we go. We're on a good green flag run. And now I just gotta go find the right. There we go. Now I know what I'm doing. All right, here I am. I'm ready to talk to some people. So let's see. We'll start with Nate Maurer here as I try and lower this volume here. Nate, you come back and you do it with some style, running in that third position. You were running up front there for a little bit. Tell me how you were able to kind of race with all those yellows and get back up to the front to have a chance for the lead.
First we put ourselves in a bad position there because, you know, that caution came out, and if you pitted there twice, save fuel, you can make it to the end. I mean, I should have known that the race was not going to go to the end without a caution. And put myself back to 18th or 19th, and then the cautions just kept coming. And you have to make the most out of your restarts, you know, be aggressive, but you got to be clean while being aggressive so you're not part of the caution. And just kept battling, you know, that final restart, just go to that final restart there. I knew I had to run up high to even have a chance of getting around Jax there. And of course I was sleeping on the restart a little bit, and came off the corner there up high. He cleared me. Owens cleared me, and I was like, you know what, I got to just make something happen. I was hoping I gave Owens a shove. Either he was going to go win the race with my shove, or they were going to wreck each other in the tunnel turn. I was going to try sneaking underneath them, and that was that. And yeah, tomato guy, I forget his name, but Joseph Amato. I probably would have finished second, but he really checked up protecting the bottom in the tunnel turn on the last lap. But fun race. Glad to be back here. I plan to be back here quite often. So great race with everybody. Just sucks, that one caution came out and they all just started flowing after that.
Well, I'm going to move on to the guy that was racing aggressively all race long, Joseph Amato, coming home inside the second position, able to have a really good finish here in the 929 in that Bonfire and Wreckers and Checkers paint scheme that I made you. Always great to see you running up front. Looked like you were rubbing doors with a couple people throughout the race. Hopefully you didn't make any enemies out there.
I really hope not. That incident with David Buell, I'm better than that. I didn't see anyone checking up in front of him, and I feel bad. I plain wrecked him. So if anything comes my way, I'll deal with it when that happens, and I'll take it on the chin. But starting from back, I think it was 15th. Ran through my pit box twice. I got real lucky with a caution there during the green flag pit cycles. Was able to cycle out up in front. It was a good race. It was a really good race. I did not expect to have a top 5 today, so coming in second is even better.
Yeah, well, you did a great job today, man. Had some lucky strategy to get you back up and get you some track position, and holding on to it with all those green-white checkers to a second place probably has a good feeling, especially after you moved, getting your rig set up and having a really good finish.
Yeah. Who knew that all it took to finish in the top 5 here was to move and set up a new rig? So.
Well, there was only one person that did way better than you, and that was David Owens, who comes home with the win here at Pocono after starting on the outside or the inside row there on that last green-white checkered attempt. I didn't think he had a shot at it, but you were able to side draft down the second straightaway towards turn number 2 and take the lead through the tunnel turn, but not with some action happening behind you that extended the gap. But David Owens, you come home with the win. Probably hard for you to pass your teammate like that for the win, but I'm sure you're happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, we had strategized on those last couple restarts, just trying to get us up there 1-2, and we got that in the last caution that put us next to each other. So it was good luck. Whoever wins wins. It's just race fair. But I wouldn't have had the position to win it if it wasn't for that push from Nate. So got to give a shout out to Nate for giving me that push, the unofficial teammate right there. But yeah, we battled back with that strategy. Me and Nate were kind of on that same strategy with that one caution pitting. We could make it to the end there, saving fuel. And like you said, just we should have known that it wasn't going to end under green like that. So probably just ran it out normally. So able to come back and battle back like that was great to have it. And it's always fun racing Nate and AJ and Joe and Jax here week in and week out for these race wins.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you again on the victory here at Pocono. I believe that it is, I think that's your second one of the season. You had Nashville and now this one, I believe, but I could be wrong.
That's right. Yeah, that makes 2 in a row. Yeah, I won, well, not last week, we were off, but yeah, the last race I won at Nashville, then this week. So yeah, it's 2 in a row.
Well, hopefully it's a good stretch of luck for you. I'm not sure how many races you rumored that this was going to be a part-time schedule, but these wins, are you going to try and go full-time again and try and go for another trophy, or what's the word on that?
Well, if these wins keep coming, I keep running good, I might as well just stick it out with the team and run it out and try for another championship. See if I can be the first Bonfire triple threat champion.
Well, we'll have to see how this season progresses, but if you continue on, best of luck to you and the rest of the guys in the Bonfire Big Truckin' Tuesday for this season. It looks like it's going to be an action-packed one for sure. But I think that's going to wrap it up here. I'm not sure if the points update after the race. I have to see here if they actually do. No, they don't automatically update before, but I believe that's going to put, I want to say, AJ Binish up to the lead here on Tuesday nights. He's going to be the season champ. But that's everything from me. I'm not sure if there's gonna be another broadcast on Sunday. That's when my flight is to come back from Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have Sunday morning done. But if I do, I believe they're going to be racing here at Pocono Sunday morning. If I have to do a replay, I might do it anyways. But then I have to look at the schedule for the trucks. Looks like we are going to Lucas Oil Raceway Park on July 16th, so that's going to be some fun, kind of short track action over there at IRP. But hopefully it's going to be some good racing. But if I don't catch you guys on the racetrack, I want to wish you guys the best of luck here from Jared the Showboat Kelly. And I've got Faith the Little Boat Kelly behind me. Faith, you got any final words here to end the broadcast?
It was great actually. I really enjoyed the racing. Like it wasn't always just like one person in the front. It kept mixing it up a little bit, and who doesn't like a little fun action? Multiple cautions, mix it up. Have some drama coming up in the track. It was great racing overall. Can't wait to watch again next week. Maybe. We'll see.
Well, we're going to end it here from the Bonfire Racing Network. Hope you guys have a great week. I know I sure will with a well-deserved vacation. But I will catch you guys here on YouTube for the next broadcast. So I'll see you guys then. Cool. I'm done.
Man, I gotta poop.